So we have a budget. For 2019, the average tax increase for a homeowner will be, for the average home, will be $65 a year. And that equals to a 3.45% increase. For non-residential, that average increase is 1.42% for 2019. So what we did is we found savings in the budget, but we applied them this year all to businesses, because we understand that particularly small businesses in Calgary are really dealing with that downtown shift problem. So we said that we will keep the homeowners increase at what it was at the beginning of the budget week, and the savings that we found will be applied to the non-residential property tax. So ultimately, I'm actually very pleased with where we ended up, because I feel that this is a compromise from 15 people around the city council table who come from very, very, very different backgrounds and who have very, very different points of view. But the best thing about municipal government is we don't have political parties, and people will come together and do what they think is the right thing. So did anybody get everything they wanted? Okay, I did. No. Did anybody lose everything they wanted? No. Because we really came together and we listened to Calgarians in the tens of thousands who told us what they wanted from this budget, and not just a budget, what they want from their city government. And that is ultimately what we delivered on today.
How unusual is a 9 to 5 vote?
Not unusual. When I first was elected, I had a 14 to 1 vote. It was actually Councillor DeMong, and who has been a great partner for me all these years. But I was told at that time no one had ever gotten a 15 to nothing vote. And I think I did get one in my 9 budgets. I think there was one that was 15 to nothing. But this is very common. And really what it was those councillors, and if you ask them, they'll probably admit it, who voted against it wanted to make a statement, but were broadly supportive of the budget anyway.
Is this the first time we've seen a difference? Is this the first time we're fairly certain we've seen a differential between non-residential?
It's the first time we've done it so explicitly, because typically we increase both at the same rate. Sometimes with the tax room, when we've taken the tax room, technically the numbers get muddled up because the tax room is different for the residential and the non-residential. But this is the first time we've actually done, in my memory, that we've actually done it in the budget. And that's precisely because although we were keeping the increases the same for both businesses and residences, the assessment based on the business side is going through the floor, which made it look like the effective rate was much higher.
So as clearly as you can, what does this do to that $89 million hole you have to fill?
It starts on filling the hole. So with this shift and one-time money in the same amount of the last 2 years, it means we'll be able to cap the property taxes for businesses outside of the core at 10%. That's not good enough. So in Q1, before we finalize the tax rates, in the first quarter of next year, we will look at other options to bring that 10% down.
So if anybody's panicking that it's no more than 10%, it's not done.
It's the starting point.
Can you characterize this budget a little bit? How does it compare to previous ones, either on capital spending, on operational spending?
It's very much all 9 of the budgets that I have been privy to since I've been mayor have been hold-the-line budgets on operational spending. We've always increased our operational spending below the rate of population growth and inflation. However, what we've been lucky enough to do, both with grants from other orders of government and from tax room, is we've really been able to do a lot of capital spending. We have built more infrastructure in the last 9 years than in any period in the history of Calgary. And as a result, we've actually brought our infrastructure deficit down. I'm sorry to say we won't be able to build capital at that level anymore. The council was really good today about ensuring that we could do surgical things that would help people get stuff they need, whether it's a new roof on your hockey arena, your local hockey arena, or whether it's a community park, or whether it's just a little bit better transit. We've managed to invest in those areas that people have told us are the most important. Most Calgarians are not going to see a huge change in the services they experience from the city, with the exception of snow removal for pedestrians and public transit and a little bit of affordable housing. These are not huge changes, but they are targeted changes that really maximize quality of life benefits for people.
You touched upon major projects once there. What kind of room does council have if it decides to do a major project?
I love nothing more than playing with spreadsheets and looking at budgets and trying to create capacity as best I can. Fundamentally, council has 4 or 5 big unfunded projects. They include the Fieldhouse, expanded convention center, event center / arena. I'll just call it an arena because I don't like event center. Major expansion to Arts Commons, Olympic Plaza revitalization, and a longer list. It'll be very, very difficult to do all of those. I would argue it would be very difficult to do more than one of those. The changes that the provincial government announced yesterday mean that basic infrastructure, it's going to be hard to build new things. We're going to be focused on safety and on life cycle maintenance. There is probably some capacity by the creation of the community revitalization levy that might bring forward a couple of those projects. So my Christmas vacation, because I have tons of fun, is going to be poring over every penny the city has and trying to figure out how I can create capacity for the maximum number of those projects.
And I know you have spoken before about these increases in terms of them being small, being affordable. We're still at the lowest in the country. But what would you say to Calgarians today who would say, you're raising my taxes during a recession? What would you say?
We have held the line on increases to property taxes in good times and in bad times. And ultimately, we are looking now at about $5 a month to the average household. And for that $5 a month, we managed to hire new bus drivers, we hire new police officers, we continue to keep the streets safe, and we continue to keep the city clean and healthy. And I think that ultimately, we sweat over every penny. Right? We spent hours arguing over $285,000 yesterday. We sweat over every penny. But we want to make sure that we also don't just look at the taxes, we look at the services that are being delivered and what people are demanding of us. And for $5 a month, I think that people are getting extraordinary service, which is, much less than the average house pays on cell phones, for example.